What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Aiden here, coming at you with another video. I thought of this topic when I was having a discussion with a friend of mine. Thought it would be a good concept for a video. Pretty much, the concept is, are trans men, or particularly me, okay, I'll talk from my own experience, am I built to not like men? That's kind of the topic that I want to discuss in this video. I was always being compared to boys, or comparing myself to boys, ever since I was young. Now, I don't like to say that I identified as transgender when I was young because I didn't know what being trans meant. I didn't understand it, and I didn't necessarily want to live a life that wasn't the life of a girl. I just wanted to live the life that I wanted to live. The binaries of gender are the only thing that held me down from those things. I was always being called a tomboy and always comparing myself to what the other boys were doing. One good example of me comparing myself to a boys when I was younger, and why I feel like maybe I was kind of brought up or built to not actually like men, which is kind of weird, right? Being that now I am one. When I was younger, in elementary school, I remember the teacher always saying, alright, Miss K's class needs some boys to go over to help them move around the desks and chairs because we're going to go watch a movie in Miss K's class. And I used to always get so annoyed at my teacher because she would only let boys move the desk. That was my first comparison of, why can't I move the desk? I'm just as strong as these boys, if not stronger. So here I was in elementary school, you know, being known as the girl who could beat all the boys in arm wrestling, but I wasn't allowed to move the desks because I was a girl. So I hated that concept. I obviously, since I still remember it today, I just hated that. It just wasn't fair. It wasn't right. I didn't get the concept. I was always being told that I couldn't play. As I got a little older, my older brothers didn't want to play with me as much because I was a girl and they were a boy. You know, I wasn't necessarily supposed to be playing like Ninja. I was supposed to be playing with my Barbies, you know, and but that's not what I wanted to do. So my question comes from the concept of always feeling like, why couldn't I do that? Okay, so feeling like women are equal, if not better than men, my whole life, especially in my teenage years when I started identifying with lesbians and then identifying on more of the masculine side of the lesbian. I personally always called myself a butch lesbian. With being that title of a butch lesbian, in my eyes, meant that, you know, I could do anything that a man could do. There's really nothing special about a penis. I could have all different sizes of a penis and colors. They weren't any smarter than me or other women. You know, I was just kind of grew up from, I'd say, early teenage years to late to early 20s, feeling as though men are kind of pointless. That there's nothing that a woman can't do that a man can do except for, you know, bodily functions, right? Once I got out of elementary school, I had no more male friends. I moved away from my next door neighbor who was a boy. My older brothers were 3 and 6 years older than me, so when I was in 6th grade, they were already in 9th grade, and one of them was graduating, so they were much older than me. I only had female friends. Then, as I identified as a lesbian, I had more mix of lesbian female friends and then straight female friends, and I never really had male influences. I want to know, all those years of not liking men, feeling as though they really had nothing special to offer the world, nothing more that a woman couldn't do, for sure. So I want to know, was I almost bred, or, is it embedded in me not to like men? Now when I meet other guys, I kind of already assume that they, have a very high probability of them being an asshole. And this is subconsciously. It's not like I mean to do this. Of course, I don't mean to prevent myself from making friends, right? So I kind of go into situations with other dudes that alright, well, I have to be on guard because this guy is probably an asshole. And he almost has to prove that he's not an asshole before I assume that he's a good guy, rather than having to prove he's an asshole and then assume he's an and then say he's an asshole. I don't have this feeling with women. You know, I don't feel this way with women, but even with gay men or, you know, the non-generic straight male, right? I still feel this way with those men. I still feel as though I have to have a slight guard up. When I get to be in the LGBT world, I bring down my guard a lot more with men. But for some reason, biological men, I have this guard up with them. And I wonder, and I want to know what you guys think. And if you guys feel the same way, like, you know, I didn't transition until I was 22 or 23 years old. So I didn't identify with men until I was at least in my 20s. And even then, I felt like I was going to be a much better man than any of the other men out there, because I had this opportunity to be what men should be. But as I meet more and more men, it's like I'm meeting more and more guys that aren't assholes. And so it's like starting to question, like, why am I just assuming that every guy I meet is some douche? You know what I mean? I would hate for any female to, or male, right, to look at me and be like, that guy's probably a douchebag. You know, just because maybe they saw a post of me wearing my Giants football jersey. That's so not fair. And I know that what I'm doing subconsciously is not fair to the men that are not assholes. And even to the ones that aren't assholes, because they should have to prove that they're an asshole before you just assume that someone's an asshole. So yeah, I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that you also have like a guard up towards biological men that's preventing you from making friendships? And that's like my own personal guard that I'm putting up because maybe I feel insecure around those men? So that's kind of what I've been throwing around in my brain lately. I don't want to prevent myself from making biological male friends. That's not my goal in life. I don't want to prevent myself from making friends of any background or any kind. So I'm trying to figure out and cipher through what's preventing me and what is embedded that I can't really change, but I'm trying to be aware of so that I could potentially change it. And then what are my own insecurities that are preventing me from making friends with biological men because maybe I feel not as good as them or something like that. Alright guys, that's it. I'll see you later. Peace.